Hello and welcome to the, let's call it, pre-open beta of Coreborn. Thank you so much for checking out this build. I'm gonna keep it short. I'm Hauke, the creative director at Blankhans, the studio behind this game, and I just wanted to give a little heads up. You are playing an internal, in many regards, incomplete build. You should still be able to play the game, enjoy the game, and if you press F1, which is the most important note I can give you, you will find most of the advice that you might need. Initially you will spawn in Korheim, which is our hub city. You will find an NPC that has a little icon above its head, which you can approach, talk to it, and that will teleport you to the actual survival map. And I think that's basically already everything that I can tell you. If you're interested in this game, if you like it, if you have questions, please join our Discord or reach out to us. We are a small indie studio and we love this game very much. We really care about it and we will keep developing and evolving the game over the next few years, hopefully. Also depends on how much you like it or are willing to advertise it maybe even. Let us know, would love to get in touch with you. Have fun.
Wow, that was a very interesting intro. I love it. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm happy to announce that Coreborn has officially entered its early beta stages, which means that you can wish this title right now on Steam and request public testing session sometime next week and have a chance of actually having access to it. To my knowledge, it is planned to be released in early access mid-July, like the actual early access title, not the beta testing. But once again, if after watching this video a part of you feels like you want to try this out on your own, there's a link down below, so feel free to check that out at the same time. I covered this title briefly on my channel in the past, and to save you some time, think of this title as MMO and survival mixed together. You customize your character with basic customization, then possibly in the future you may get to choose your class because there is literally clearly a title right there. And although not right now, since this is still a private testing session and it wouldn't really let me customize that whatsoever, you should be able to choose your class at some point in the near future. And then you're just set on your way. If I could really nail this down and compare this title to one particular one, I would say this is the closest thing to Tribes of Midgard, but with a third-person perspective, of course. This is one of those titles where you get to play in either co-op or single-player mode. You build yourself a settlement, gather resources, and then every so often you will get attacked, and you will have to protect your village from all those upcoming creatures. The game is heavily inspired by a fictional world filled with just very interesting creatures and elves looking things. You will get to explore different biomes filled with different challenges. The game already has a temperature meter, which affects your character on a very significant level. There's already hunger, which refills your health, sort of like Valheim, and a unique leveling system available from the start. Now, since this is very early beta testing, there are quite a few things that need to be adjusted and tweaked. For instance, throughout my playtime, I've noticed that during my encounter with creatures, some creatures will duplicate right in front of me during the battle mode. Unless they're giving birth while they're fighting players, I would say that's something that really needs to be looked into. Despite combat being very basic and repetitive, those same creatures you encounter in the wild are very strong and require a lot of hits. Jumping into a battle with one of them can feel very long and regretful. In fact, there was a time when I was fighting a simple animal or a goat looking thing for nearly 2 minutes straight. And any of the devs watching this video, I would definitely suggest lowering their health quite a bit. I understand this whole idea is making the game challenging for new spawn players, but you could probably do that by increasing the enemy's strength and possibly lowering their health. That way the game is still challenging, but at least you're not smashing a goat for 2 minutes straight. I don't make games, I just play them. It's just something I noticed that can be improved before hitting a public state. Also, experience occasional frame drops in certain areas. Nothing major as of right now, just occasionally, you know. Good old optimization should do the trick on this one. Also, little context for my audience. You may have noticed at the beginning stages we were pretty much limited in the opening area, and a lot of areas were actually closed off, to say the very least. And it's simply due to this game being at the current state in the testing experience. I'm sure the development team of Coreborn has a lot more in store for us. Once again, you just have to take one thing at a time and improve from that point forward. I'm sure sure at some point we're gonna see different quests and missions that players could at some point just experience and get to wrap their feet around, if you will. Another suggestion would be implementing the crouching option. As I was mining for clay, I was having a difficult time reaching some of the remaining resources still on the ground. They were simply somehow out of reach for my character, even though I was looking right into it. Speaking of resources, as you drop your items, you will no longer see them near your character at all. Once you drop them, you're pretty much throwing that out for good. You're not going to see them ever again, just on the floor. On the other hand, as far as the graphics and everything, I'm absolutely stoked and in love with the graphics and the texture style that developers decided to go with. The reason Fortnite seems to be appealing to players is because of the art style that is being used in the game. Some will argue that it's too cartoony, but I always found this sort of art style just very unique and well put together and extremely appealing. Same applies with art designers of Coreborn. It speaks very clearly to me that they have truly put some incredible amount of time into it. They definitely have incredibly talented people working on this game, to say the very least, especially when it comes to creating life within the game. Creatures seem very creatively designed as well. The atmosphere overall is just amazingly beautiful to me. Animation needs some work. In fact, when I was battling creatures, I would double tap shift to dodge their attack. I would occasionally triple tap that by an accident, which forced my character to hide and pull his sword out way too many times, pretty much getting too annoying, honestly. As far as building cabins and shelters and villagers and whatnot, you know, resource gathering is well balanced, I would say. Everything seemed to be working great. Walls and foundations would snap whenever, you know, it needed to. The idea of building is very simple, something you may have seen in different titles at this point, where in order to build something, you'll need a hammer. Without a hammer, you really can't do anything else when it comes to building a shelter, of course. And those were the most major things I've noticed. This is kind of like a preview video for this game. I've played quite a bit. I would say I played solid 2.5 hours just playing this game, testing everything out, and it does need a lot of work. It's not perfect. This is what the beta testing is. You know, when it comes to just this development in general, think of this game as like, you know, when you make pizza, this is sort of like the flour. You're just making the flour. So this is what pre-testing is. This is no early access to where you start collecting ingredients. This is none of that. We're not even at that stage at all. But as slowly time goes on, you know, it should be available to public testing sometime next week, and I'm pretty sure they might be very selective. I'm not sure about that, but I feel like this is probably the case. And then once the public testing is out, they're gonna release this in early access sometime mid-July. As of right now, I mean, it's in decent state. Definitely it's work. Definitely, I would not release this game to early access in the shape that it's in right now. And this is once again what the early testing is. They want to get as much feedback as possible, and if you notice anything that's kind of, you know, looks a little bit off to you, just comment down below so we can reach out to developers and have them maybe improve this, so that way, you know, when early access drops, the game would be in a lot better state, to say the very least. And I think I'm just gonna wrap this video up. It's already too long. I don't want to waste too much of your guys' time. I always try to keep my videos nice and short. You already know what to do. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for future content like this, and as always, this was your boy Roos, and I'm out. Goodbye.